Today's devotion from Grace Unbounded presents us with the very familiar parable of the Good Samaritan. And I think that parable really calls us to think about how we view ourselves in the world relative to other people. Remember that the parable is told in response to a lawyer who was trying to justify himself, who was trying to limit the scope of who his neighbor was in the world. And Jesus' answer is to tell this story about how all of the people who came by this wounded man on the road, who would be presumed to be neighbors of his, passed by. But the one, the Samaritan, who was the least likely to be understood as a neighbor, he was the one that cared for this man. You know, we kind of draw circles in our world. We draw circles of race, of family, of our ethnic background, of our nationality. They are circles that try to help us limit who we need to be concerned about and what we need to be concerned about in the world. But this parable opens it up and shows us that God's circle is infinitely wide. And so, for instance, the people who are suffering now in Ukraine, they're our neighbors. People who are starving in some parts of the world distant from us, they're our neighbors. Today, maybe we really ought to think about who our neighbors really are in this world and how we live our lives in relationship to them.